Hello.
Hi.
And welcome once again to Wheel Takes, a podcast about the Wheel of Time, a series of fantasy novels written by one Robert Jordan, and then they got finished by one Brandon Sanderson. I'm Gus, and I've read all of them.
And I'm Allie, and I have read up to... What book are we on? Knife of Dreams. Yeah, okay, because the second I was like, Path of Dagger, because I knew there was something stabby, and then I was like, that was forever ago.
That was quite a while ago.
Knife of Dreams, chapter 33.
Yes.
See, I got the chapter.
We're coming at you.
Mostly because you flashed me the fingers.
I did. We're coming at you today from separate rooms, which
Gus
also
has COVID.
Explains why we didn't have an episode last week, is that last...
For those of you who don't follow us on social media.
Yeah, if you are listening to this after the fact, and you're just listening, long after this has been recorded, this means nothing to you. Good for you, and you should feel superior. If you are listening as these come out, and you might have been wondering why there was no episode last week and you don't follow us on Twitter, that's why.
Gus, it's called X.
I'm not going to call it X.
I know.
I got hit very hard by the COVID stick, and I was very, very much under the weather for a good week there. But now I'm back, and I'm still quarantining from Allie because I don't want her to get sick. And we're gonna keep on keeping on here. I'm bummed actually that we couldn't put out an episode last week because I wanted to plug the Cards of Time Kickstarter, which has since closed. So there's really no point in my talking about it now, which sucks. But if you're coming to WotCon, be sure to play the Cards of Time game created by the incredible Koala Sadai. It's a great deal of fun, and I love it. We had a little stream last week to play that with the creator of the game, and it was a good time. So check that out on our YouTube if you want to see. It was a
great time. We had a blast
with Danny and Brett and Lauren and Scout and Koala, and yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, I still have a little brain fog. Allie,
I maintain I should have won that because I think there was some bullshit calls, but
that is how the game works. We have to live with the calls. Allie,
no, I don't have to live with anything.
How you doing? Oh, you know what? Other thing that's fun, by the way, because we're recording separately, because I had to get out the other setup. Guess what we have back?
What? The soundboard?
The soundboard.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah.
Stupid boy.
I don't know how much we're going to be using it, but we have it.
Oh my god.
So that's cool.
Wait, that makes me so happy.
I am also happy. I love the soundboard. It's a great thing. The levels might get all fucked up because of how Zoom is probably changing my audio.
We're working on rebuilding our studio.
Yeah. All right. So we're finally going to finish those two chapters, and then Allie finally gets to read more of Knife of Dreams, possibly all of Knife of Dreams. Honestly, like based on how many chapters we got left from this point. What do you think, Allie? This is going to be through 33. There are 37 chapters and an epilogue. We could just do finale part 1, part 2 after this.
Yeah, I think that sounds like fun.
I'm all about it. Maybe we'll try to sneak a live reaction in there at some point. But again, COVID, so maybe not. We'll see.
We'll see.
Before we get into that, though, we got a few people to thank, and then believe it or not, I think we're caught up.
What?
I think we're caught up after this. So thanks for the pint, Gunito.
Gunito. Just like a commanding greeting card. You're poetic. There's a poetic sense to you. You have you're very in touch with your artistic side. You have really great ways of phrasing things. You are just a natural wit with words. You are also thoughtful. You go out of your way to make sure that you are thinking of others and giving your time and effort toward those little gestures that make people so happy and feel seen. And you're also precious. I keep all of my greeting cards. I keep everything. I'm such a pack rat. I keep everything that people send me, like all of their writing and stuff. And for a long time, I was kind of like, why do I do that? but I can't bear to throw anything away from people that I care for. And then recently I had that so validated because I was reorganizing, and I found cards from people who have passed away. I found a note from my dad from when I was my like 8th birthday. Like that's how much of a pack rat I am. I keep every scrap of paper. But yeah, just things where I'm like, oh, I have the handwriting of someone that has like passed away years and years ago. And that's so lovely. So just like that, you are precious to people. People love you. People care for you. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
Thanks for the high five, Sarah W.
Sarah W., just like a resplendent jar of pickles. You pack a punch. You know, I don't know if you're like me and you like taking some swigs of pickle brine.
I was about to ask if you were going to bring that up.
Listen, I spent a lot of my life being ashamed of the fact that I love pickle brine, and no longer.
They're delicious.
I am in my unapologetic era.
We've been on a pickles kick lately, and I have to eat the pickles quickly because Allie drinks the brine, and then I get worried the pickles are going to dry out. And the brine is delicious. I totally get it. I think the brine's great.
And it's fine to do in our house because no one else eats those pickles.
Oh,
so
God,
it's not like I'm being inconsiderate. I try to drink it very slowly. Yeah, I try to drink it very slowly so that your pickles don't dry out. And yes, I do pour it into a cup. Yeah. I'm not a monster. Yeah. But I don't I don't feel apologetic about it. A lot of people used to tell me when I was growing up that it was disgusting. I now don't care.
It's great.
I am seeking joy, and the haters can go away.
You know how I feel about drinking pickles brine?
What?
I get to hit the buttons again. It's going to be fucking nightmare for everybody. Everybody's infuriated that I have the buttons back. Go on. Sorry, we were doing a patron thank you for Sarah W.
Yeah, you pack a punch.
Yeah.
You know, if you've ever like me, drunk pickle brine, it packs a punch. You remember. People remember you. People have strong feelings for you because you are just somebody that is memorable and interesting. You don't walk away from a party not remembering you. And that is a glorious thing. You take your space. And you also, you're not one to, bottle things up. You let things out of the jar when things need to be said. You have healthy displays of standing up for yourself, being an advocate for others who have a difficult time with that. And you are also strong. It can take a lot of strength to pry that lid off. Sometimes.
It can.
Or it takes ingenuity, because I have learned that if you bang on the pickle jar with the end of a knife, not the sharp end, the other end. Yeah, don't grab knives, obviously. But, who knows? Someone might. So you take a butter knife and you just bang on the end of it. It can open. So you are an ingenious and strong person. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
The pickles that we eat, the brand of pickles, they actually recently changed their jar design because they opened too easily. The
really?
Brillo, yeah, you know how they have the screw cap now?
Yeah.
They used to have a cap that popped off, but they kept popping off in people's grocery bags.
Oh, no.
So that's why they replaced it with the screw top. And they put all this stuff on the packaging that's the pickles are the same. The label is different, but the pickles are the same.
People would ask.
I bet people still did and still do. And I understand that. I see a pickle with a new lid, I'm going to panic. Pickle panic. The title of this week's episode.
I was kind of feeling a little mocking about that in my head for a second. And then I was like, no, Allie, you absolutely would panic about that.
Yeah.
I am as a neurodivergent person, I am very precious about my foods.
Absolutely.
My foods have to be consistent and the same. It's not that I don't have an expanded palate or am adventurous, but my comfort foods, it has to be the same brand. I will try anything. I will eat anything. Well, not as much anymore because I'm gluten-free and try to avoid lactose and alcohol. But, and I also don't eat mammals, which is the most annoying way
and
to
you're
say
lactose intolerant.
Right. I said lactose.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
Yeah. So,
you eat
I
air,
am willing
pretty
to
much.
try foods. My stomach just doesn't agree.
It doesn't go in for that sometimes.
But I'm willing to eat anything except for mammals. But yeah, when it comes to like my comfort day-to-day stuff where I'm like, I want to eat this as like a me thing and I'm not having an adventurous day, it better be the same. It's got to be the same brand, same flavor, same everything. I get very precious about that. So yes, I do actually get that. I do get that.
3 more patrons to thank. Thanks. Hey, Knuckles Mustache. How you doing? Thanks for jumping up to a pint.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. You did not have, that's so sweet. Okay. Just like a magnanimous magician. You have a way of making our problems disappear when you're near. You are somebody who just is always willing to help, always willing to lend an ear, and always down with a hug. You are just that kind of person that when we're around you, you just make us feel better about what's going on in the world and in our lives. And that's an amazing quality. You're also spontaneous and adaptive. You know, if there is something that needs doing, you will pull that rabbit out of that hat. You will pull it off. Despite the odds, you will deliver when something needs to be done. And that is through your spontaneity and adaptability. And also, you're mesmerizing. You are someone who is just so fun to watch, and so fun to talk to. And you just have this star quality about you that makes everyone pay attention. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
Thanks for... I had these marked and then it went away because I was looking something up and that is the worst thing. And now I'm vamping and I don't have to. Thanks for jumping up to a pint, Chris G.
Chris G, just like a charming action figure. You are valuable. Because action figures are collectible, right? And often are sold to people. And just like that, you are somebody who provides a lot of value just by existing. You are somebody whose presence is just useful in pretty much every scenario, because you provide that calm and rational, necessary kind of vibe. You know how to de-escalate anything. You're also, you don't let people box you in. You break out of any box that is in your way. You refuse to be defined. You are unique and interesting. And you're also always delivering this sense of childlike wonder to you. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
And last, but certainly not least, thanks for the pint, Karen M.
Karen M, just like a hopeful Hot Wheel. Have I done Hot Wheels? I don't think so.
I wish you would. Hot Wheels are great.
Hot Wheels are great.
Shout out to Hot Wheels.
I loved Hot Wheels as a kid. I could never build the tracks, though.
Me neither. But the cars were fun.
There are so many things, so many toys that I played with where I go, as an adult, I played with that wrong because I didn't have someone who would construct it correctly for me. Do you know what I mean?
I had this one like Connects Hot Wheels thing. It had a loop. I remember being enormous and taking up a significant part of my basement. I'm sure that it was not that big. I'm sure it was like 16 square feet, if that. But
yeah, I love how much bigger things feel when you're that little.
Yeah, it was cool. I loved it. Probably very small.
But just like that, you're zooming, you're zipping. You are somebody who is always on the go, always has things going on, full social calendar. One of those industrious people where you go, how do they do it all and do it all so well? And you are just one of those people, Karen. You also are always on the right track, right? You are just full of right opinions. You are just correct in every take, including your liking of wheel takes. But also, you are never on a crash course. You are somebody who will get through anything, even things that look like they could be a disaster. You are somebody who just always lands on your feet. Someone who is not, brought down by little fender benders. And you don't turn those fender benders into full-on collisions. You are somebody who knows that sometimes little bumps happen, but you're going to get through it. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
We're caught up on patron thank yous for the first time in a long time. You know what we're not caught up even a little bit on is sending the patron things out.
I know.
So thanks, everybody, for your continued and really incredible patience on that. We will do them soon. The health things have just kind of precluded a lot. However, I do have some other fun things to talk about real quick.
Please.
We got an email from Elayne who said, remember last week we were like, I don't know how to pronounce this. Elayne reached out and said, not that you'll probably have reason to pronounce my name again, but Elayne sounds like Elayne, but with an S. And my response to that is a hard S, like a voiced S, or a sibilant S. Because now I don't know if it's Elayne or Elayne. But I'm assuming it's Elayne. Yeah. And you don't have to tell us. We can be proudly right or wrong in our own heads. It is Schrodinger's name.
We're going to say not. Both. Elayne. Thank you again for being a part of the community.
Schrodinger's name is Schrodinger. So.
You're always allowed to write in and let us know how to pronounce your name prior to or even after us reading it. We want to get it right.
Yes.
And we don't know how to pronounce
any name, frankly.
We don't. And we like to pronounce your name correctly, so please let us know, because I have spent my life having my name incorrectly pronounced.
That's true. Happens all the time.
It happens a lot.
Another fun thing is a number of people commented after listening to last week's episode. They said, wow, Allie, you were remarkably composed about being completely wrong about Vandene.
All right, here's the thing. I was trying to handle it with grace, and apparently that is very unusual for me because it was much remarked upon that I was a lot chiller about being wrong than people had anticipated and were maybe looking forward to me being. I was going for professional. I was going for a magnanimous admittance of defeat and a generous and professional look at what another writer was trying to do with their call on their book. Here's the thing, though. I really wish I had been right. I get why I wasn't. And it is Robert Jordan who is wrong. Because I'm in a weird position. Okay. This is the thing about this is I'm in a weird position because I in no way ever want to. First of all, Robert Jordan is an incredibly successful writer. And obviously I am earlier in my writing career than he is at this point of writing. And I never ever want to sound like I'm telling another writer what to do with their book or saying that like my ideas are better than another writer's. None of that is something that I want to portray about myself because I very much respect other writers and their process. I'm the last person that ever wants to badmouth someone's work unless it's like actively harmful.
Well, wait, listen. This
very, and I'm not, and that's not what I'm doing.
I know this is all very, very, very.
I'm just trying to be diplomatic.
Okay, wait.
Apparently, that is an unusual.
Do you remember
thing for
this?
Me to do.
Hold on.
This shady bitch.
Do you remember this?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh
the classic.
Oh,
the classic wheel take moment.
Yes.
That is illegal. That is slavery. What? Oh!
See, but this to me was like, I was wrong, positive. Because I was like, I was wrong I like being wrong in a way that surprises me positive, where I'm like, yes, I love that they made that decision. I think it was okay. And again, I'm not bad mouthing. I was wrong in a way where I was like, ooh, they got me. You know what I mean? That I love when I like throw the book across the room and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't see that coming. Holy shit, they got me. I love it. Like that stuff I love. And he's done that with me a few times. He did that with Leandrin, where I didn't see it coming because I was trying to metagame the books. And, you know, and I went off and was very excited. I think for this particular one, the thing about me being wrong on this one is my energy is different because it's like, oh, he got me. I'm wrong. I wish I'd been right about it, but I also understand that like I put way more importance into that plot than I think Robert Jordan did. Like I think Allie cannot see a mystery on a page without like overthinking it and wanting it to be a big deal. And I think there are some moments where Robert Jordan does lean into that. And there are some moments where he doesn't.
All right. You're being very,
all that diplomacy aside, now that I have like avoided all of the potential hate comments that hopefully I could get for this, I fucking hated this. I think he's wrong. What the fuck was going on in his brain? The most interesting choice was obviously Vandene. I believe in my heart that because Gus said that it was a leading theory at the time, that he saw that everyone was like, oh, it's Vandene. And he was like, well, then I don't want to do it then because now I don't want everyone to be right. And I think that's wrong, Robert. I think that's wrong. I think you wussed out on doing it because you wanted to get one over on people. And instead, the more satisfying, we all know it, the more satisfying choice. And now I'm going to get people being like, actually, I really loved the
That's
choice.
That's fine. People can like what they want.
That's fine. Like what you want. I fucking think it's stupid. Who? What was her name?
Cariana.
Who?
Cariana.
Okay, that sounds like at least let it be Carlenia. But Carlenia's dead, right? Is Carlenia dead? I don't even remember.
No.
At least let it be somebody I clocked for a while.
You don't even know if Carlenia's alive or not. How would that be?
Okay, fine. But at least let it be someone memorable. Like, I wish, here's the thing. For me to be satisfied by this conclusion, because what I did here, I'm going to front load with some positives. We'll positive sandwich it. Okay. Because I feel like I talk shit a lot, and I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm really not, because as she says, as she's talking shit, but I'm not talking shit because Robert Jordan is obviously a great writer and obviously very accomplished. I'm just pissed because I think that this one time there was a more interesting choice to be made. And I did like Vandene's end here, going out, killing somebody. I wish we had gotten an old lady battle.
I also would have loved. I
wanted old lady battle, and I don't mind that it ended in a stabbing, but I wanted a little more than just they're frozen and they're cut off and now she's just going to stab her. I wanted a little more build up because it felt like this was an undercurring thing for a while. It felt like we were constantly avoiding Vandene in the narrative and assuming that she wasn't guilty. And I'm like, why are we assuming that though? Why are we assuming that? Unless we're trying to do the Jada Essence Hall from Drag Race look over their thing, and so and it's fine with me that I'm wrong, but at least give us some other suspects that would be equally interesting. Varen would have been an interesting reveal because we got to know her and she's been there, right? I don't know who Carrie Fuck is.
Carrie Fuck?
I don't know her. I don't care. Cariana. That's why I went with Vandene in the first place, because I was like, that is the only interesting choice here. Marilla Lee would have been interesting, but we ruled her out very early.
She left too.
She left.
Yeah.
So I was just like, Jim, all due respect, because I have loved so many choices. Obviously, I feel like but I just you're fucking wrong this time, man. You have fucked with me personally, I think, on this one, because there's just no, that was the wet fartiest thing he could have done. And in a way, I feel like he's flipping me the middle finger.
How does it hold up against who draws it out, she'll follow after? which was
both of those were Robert Jordan
was
flipping
the prophecy,
me specifically the finger.
which when I read it, I went, "Oh, really?"
Yeah, both of these, I was like, oh, you had me video
And
it,
to clarify,
and I don't want to post it.
These stand out because so often they are, "Oh my God, it's amazing," and then every once in a blue moon, it goes, "That's it." That's why these stand out.
And that's the thing is, I'm like, you know what? You cannot be a writer of this caliber and deliver me wet farts like this. If you are setting stuff up at this point, my expectation for you, Jimbert, is that you are going to deliver for me. And you did not on this one. And I object strongly, sir.
You know,
Go back and rewrite it. That was not the ending I was promised. I was promised either badass old lady battle, where Vandene extracts revenge and goes out swinging. I'm cool with the fact that she went out. I just wanted like the biggest build up to that reveal possible. I wanted it was fucking her and then or like at least Vandene to figure it out. Like I wanted that either that old lady fucking battle where she's like, I am taking control. I have figured it out. You killed my fucking little sister. And now I am going to slit your throat slowly. I'm going to kill you. I wanted, tell Cersei, I want her to know it was me. That's what I wanted. I wanted that. And or I wanted, it was me the whole fucking time. And let me deliver this thing that is so your thesis, Jimbert. Your thesis is like, it's never too late to turn back, but also like being a bad guy is not necessarily black and white, cut and dry. It can be really complex. And sometimes we go so far that it's like hard to turn back and we make horrible decisions. I mean, that is like the whole point. The whole thesis. And this is the thing. I feel like he does this sometimes on the women plot lines. He just kind of goes like, and then whatever.
I think that's a function.
Maybe it's not a woman thing, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. Nothing particularly critical.
I took a video because you told me to start recording myself.
Yeah.
And I took a video of me listening, and I kind of don't want to post it because I'm listening and I'm like, okay. And then I just stop recording.
Yeah.
I just went, oh.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously this was a thing that just I latched onto and was more important to me than was ultimately important to Robert Jordan. But I'm also just like, for me personally, you cannot introduce a mystery and then not have it pay off. For me, because that is my thing. I love mysteries. I love being wrong in a way that makes me excited.
Robert also loves mysteries.
Wrong in a way where I was like, oh, I think there was a more interesting choice to be made that would have been more satisfying. I don't have a problem with being wrong. But if we were to pull this off for me, I would have loved to have there be a bigger explosion of some kind.
Yeah.
Or have gotten to know the other women at all. I think that's the other thing. And I know we don't necessarily have time and all this stuff, but I mean, we had all the slop.
Look at the shelf.
We had all of the slop. I didn't get to know a single one of these women who were also suspect. I didn't get to know Care Bear.
Care Bear's good. We'll keep that. Well, listen, that being said, do you want to jump in? We can push forward, get into chapters 32, 33, actually talk about these chaps. Yes?
I couldn't name a distinguishing thing about her. Can you name one? You've read the books now multiple times. What is like one personality
she's relatively
trait
weak in the power.
And that's why she had to do the T.
That's why she had to do the T.
I mean, I suppose.
I only know that because I looked it up on the wiki.
Crumb.
The only reason I know that is because I looked it up on the wiki.
I just feel like maybe if it had been someone of like a Shiriam level where we really have gotten to know her from day one, I would have cared more. I just wanted, because here's the thing, Vandene was so much more well known to us than the other two. I was like, this is the only choice that will be interesting to me. And so I'm like, I think it needed to be, for me, levels of like, it's like Shiriam, Varen, or Vandene. Pop off. any of those. Oh my God. Have it be Varen. And then we get old lady boss battle.
It'd be
Fuck
fun.
yeah. Hell yeah. Yes. And I'm like, we had the whole slog to get to know those other two.
Well, when did she die? She died book 8, right? So yeah, we had 9 and 10.
Yeah, we had the whole slog. We had 2 books to like establish anything about them to make this pay off. I just don't think it paid off for me.
That's fair. It didn't pay off for me either. In fact,
I'm sure we will hear from somebody that it paid off.
That's
for.
great.
It did
I'm
not
glad
for
it did.
me.
I'm glad
happy
it did
for
for other
you.
people.
I'm thrilled for you. You're fucking wrong. No, just kidding. Art is subjective, and obviously this mattered more to me than it did to Jim. But he's wrong. He's fucking wrong. Everyone who likes this is wrong. You know what? No, it was gonna be Vandene, and then he read the Reddit threads or whatever the fuck was there before. I don't know, 4chan. I don't know what the fuck. Probably not 4chan, but whatever it was, the message boards that existed.
Theoryland. Yeah.
He saw that Vandene was a suspect, and he was like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want them to be right. I don't want that. It's better for them to be right and have a satisfying payoff than it is to throw it to punt it to someone we don't give a shit about. I don't know. That was a wet fart for me. But like, you know what, Jim? Pop off. Flip me the bird from the grave. I get it. I'm stupid for liking this plotline.
Shall we press forward?
Fuck!
I know.
I'm mad that I was wrong about this one, because I'm mad that I was wrong negative, but not just because I just think it could have been so cool. And I think it was still cool, but not as cool as I wanted it to be. Yeah. I really, you know what? And maybe that's the product of reading the book slowly, is that I really built this up for myself as something really precious to me.
I mean, look, it comes up in almost every Elayne chapter.
It does.
For like 2.5 books.
And she's like wearing Delisa's clothes, which is fucking weird. That's a weird thing to do.
Vandene is, to be clear, is what you're saying.
That's like, I can't wash the blood off will these hands never be clean? Like, that's what it felt like to me. I was like, this is her Lady M moment. She is like manifesting her grief in the weirdest way possible because she's guilty.
It's possible that this is a thread that Robert Jordan lost sight of because, like, I think Tor was crunching him pretty hard for a lot of these books. They were not giving him a lot of time to do a lot of turnaround. Maybe is part of it. It's also possible that he put less effort into this particular plot line because Harriet wasn't really, by her own words, wasn't really doing a lot of editing on the books at this point. She was pretty much there as support.
Which I think is interesting because, I don't know.
We can get into a lot more discussion about that another time.
I mean, I always worry about the point at which writers no longer really rely on editors. And granted, you know, editors can be a mixed bag, just like anything else. But I do think it's nice to have a second person in your corner who can say, like, you know, you didn't really pay this off, because you get so in the weeds of something, especially something of this magnitude, right? There's so many plot threads and so much going on. And I know he had Maria.
Yeah. Oh, who's
right?
phenomenal.
I know he had people.
He had Team Jordan who kept an eye on his continuity.
But yeah, I think you need someone, though, because those are people who work for you and their job is to, like, point out, like you said, her dress was red on this page and it's blue on this page, you know, like, and I'm sure that they, you know, gave their thoughts and feedback, but I do think you need somebody who's like, no, you need to pull like, you need to think about these plot threads. You need to think about the craft, right? Like, because, and that's not to say his craft is poor. It's obviously not. And yes, obviously publishers, deadlines, things like that can interfere with the quality of, I'm not saying that his quality is bad, but I'm just saying, like, that stuff can factor into whether you're able to tie up the loose ends that you want to, of course. And is every work going to be perfect? No, right? I'd rather have a book than no book, of course. But I think that in terms of, this to me is why, like, putting that level of pressure on writers can be problematic.
Oh, God,
of course. Yeah. And also getting to a point where an editor doesn't feel like, especially one like a spouse, and I know a lot of writers who don't have spouses read their stuff or whose spouses don't provide feedback. We have kind of a weird relationship in that way, I think.
You and I?
That, like, yes, in that, like, I cannot send anything to my representation until I get your thoughts on it. And you're very much involved pretty much from the idea's inception a lot of the time in giving me your thoughts. So I guess I can't imagine a world in which I would want you to step back.
Well, yeah, I don't bring this up.
Yeah, everything's different.
I don't bring this up to say like, and it's bad now. That's not at all what I'm saying.
No.
I only bring this up to say that perhaps, like we talked about this with the Amayar thing, where that clearly meant more to him based on what he said than it did to most of his readers. And I think that there's always going to be a function. And honestly, if we wanted to expand this to something like the show, that's why there have to be writers on the show who don't know the books, is because if anytime you're working as the person who is like the primary source or the primary intelligence on a piece of material, you're going to have a much richer idea of the inner life of it than necessarily makes it onto the page, especially if you're a prodigious note keeper. So, it's almost impossible to always have communicated the same, and I don't even know if this is something you wanted to have communicated, but communicate the same level of inner life on every single detail as necessarily you think is in the text, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just, I'm kind of positing on reasons why Harriet's exact words, by the way, were, quote, "By the last of the Wheel of Time books, my role was primarily that of wife, keeping him fed and cared for, because after 20 plus years, I had taught him everything I knew about storytelling and prose, and he had really become the wonderful writer that he was." And then she essentially retired. Because she had edited Harriet, by the way, one of the greatest editors, in my opinion, of all time. She edited Ender's Game. I think she also edited The Way of Kings, which is the first Stormlight archive. Obviously, The Wheel of Time. It's phenomenal editor. So good for her.
I mean, I think there are people who are like known for their ability to edit or their ability to develop concepts. I mean, there are, people talk a lot of smack about executives in Hollywood, but they're the ones that are really good. Like, you develop a reputation for being a really good development executive, right? Like, and having that eye and that taste and that ability to get a project, like to give those notes. I mean, same thing with editors, right? Like, the really good editors are like a godsend because you need somebody who understands your material, understands what you're trying to say, and can just do those little things of like, just those little connecting pieces sometimes that don't always, when you are in the thick of things, translate on the page. Where you're like, of course they understand my brain specifically. And it's very hard to always anticipate. It's just like how it's difficult to teach a lot of the time because you operate under the assumption that everyone has the knowledge and skill set that you have. Same thing with being a writer. You operate under the assumption that people think like you think and see what you see. And so having those like other people, I think, looking at it and providing notes and feedback, people you trust, but you trust to not only like read it, but trust to be honest with you. And that's those are very difficult people to find because it's like, if it might be your mom, but a lot of moms are going to just be like, it's great, honey. It's perfect. You're perfect. Right. Cause they love you and they want, or you might have a different kind of mom, who you probably wouldn't trust to read it then. Right. So it's finding those people who love you and to understand the way that your mind works, but also have a different brain and who aren't afraid to go like, I see what you're doing here. Here's like one connective tissue piece that's going to like just make that puzzle fit. Yeah. Yeah. And so I don't know. I think that would freak me out, is that level of, I think there's a certain level at which people start not feeling like they need to provide thoughts and feedback and stuff. Like there's a certain level of like celebrity, fame, success. And I still think people need it. And I think, I don't.
Was it Albee? I don't remember the stories about Edward Albee or someone else, but it may have been Edward Albee. Went to a reading of he posted a reading of a play he'd written, and everybody involved in it gave him acclaim and lauded the text and said, "Oh my God, it's one of the best things you've ever written." Da, 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 da. And then he went home and he turned to his wife and he said, "What'd you think?" And she said, "It's terrible and needs a page 1 rewrite."
Yeah, exactly. And you need, and I've said this to you. I'm like, if I ever get that successful, I need you to always still be honest with me, because I do feel like there's a point at which you reach a level of success where, like, if you don't have those well-established people where you're like, it doesn't matter what level of success I'm at, they're going to be honest with me. I think you end up being surrounded by sycophants.
We're not saying, to be clear, that Robert Jordan.
Oh no, this is just an underlying fear of mine about
Yeah.
success. Is that like,
needed to caveat that real quick.
Is that like people will let you perform poorly? And I'm not saying that's what happened here, but I have seen it happen, I think, with other successful people. Also, obviously, plenty of successful people where this does not seem to happen. But like, I'll read a book or I'll see a movie and it's like their, first thing or like an earlier thing. And then you see what happens later and you go like, why did they let this happen? Like it feels unfinished. It feels sloppy. It doesn't feel like it's indicative of their best work. What happened? And it's because everybody in their life just was like, now you have the keys to the kingdom, go make whatever. And I think sometimes that level of freedom and hands off can hurt you. And I don't necessarily think that's what happened, but yeah, that's just like always to me a concern about that level of success. For me, I'm always like, oh, I would never want that. Want to not have somebody in my life that would be what Edward Albee needed in his wife, where she was like, you need a page 1 rewrite, honey. That's not, I see what you're doing. And you can say that in a really kind way, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you just did that for me.
I did. Very recently.
You just did that for me, where I was walking you through.
It's
I realized I had to throw out.
You've been working on for like, I don't know, on and off for years, I feel like.
I would say in earnest, probably since January. Yeah. But I realized I needed to throw out 40 pages of work for this pilot. And then I was walking you through the restructuring that I did, the major restructuring. And then you're like, that also needs to be completely dismantled and redone. And we had like a long walk where we talked about it. And at this point, right, the first time you did that to me, like 10 years ago?
Ish.
Yeah. Actually, you read the first thing I ever wrote, which is actually very sweet about me and Gus. Gus read the first thing I ever wrote, which was horrendously awful.
It just wasn't, you didn't have craft yet.
I want to go back and read it because I'm sure it is
it's not bad.
Horrifyingly bad.
No, it's not.
I sent Gus the first play I ever wrote. Gus read it and his response to me was really nice. Really nice. But he was like, have you ever taken a playwriting class? And I was like, no, I just felt like writing a play one day. And he goes,
which is fine,
and
by the way.
He recommended some classes for me. And I wasn't offended because it was true. I had never taken a class before. And he was like, I think there's a lot of really good stuff here. I think that, structurally, you might learn a lot and it will help you grow. And I was like, okay, I'm 20 years old. Of course. What the hell do I know about structure other than having read a lot? Right. So then I went and took my first playwriting class and then graduated with a, degree in playwriting. But that was before Gus and I ever dated. And so, and since then, Gus has read every single thing I have ever written. And we have gotten into like fights, right?
Yeah.
Over things that you have pointed out to me about my work, right? I have had meltdowns, like rejection sensitivity for Elayne meltdowns over things you told me, because I'm like, how can I, oh my God, famously, like right before one of my plays went up, right? Remember we were like a month into rehearsals and you were like, actually it needs a total rewrite. Mm-hmm. And I remember where we were and we were driving the car and I lost it. I was so upset. I was like, what do you mean? Since then,
well, that's bad timing on my part, too. If I told you that as we were in rehearsals, that would have been
and I was like, what do you mean? The time to tell me this was a month ago. But I did the rewrite and he was right. This is the thing. We used to fight about it. I used to get mad at you, but you were always right. always right. And
I wouldn't go
always
that
doing
far.
it out of love. And you were being very kind when you delivered this news, right? But always you were right. You always know what I need to connect the dots of what I'm trying to say. Actually, the funniest was you pitched me a joke, because every now and then I'll look up and I'll be like, guys, I need you to pitch me a joke. And
What's something funny you can say about X?
I was like, what's something funny you can say here?
Here's the
'cause
context.
my eyes are bleeding and I'm out of
Punch
ideas.
this up for me.
And Gus will pitch a joke, and sometimes it will make it in, or we'll noodle a joke back and forth. And so occasionally jokes have made it in. And one joke in particular made it into a pilot of mine that I sent to my manager, and he called me back and he goes, oh my God, this one joke. He couldn't stop laughing at this joke.
He
kept
brought it up for
chuckling
like
to
2
himself.
months, didn't he?
Oh my God. Like, he kept bringing this joke up, and it was a joke that Gus had pitched that I loved and I put in, because obviously it was great. And he just kept bringing it up. He just kept chuckling to himself. And eventually I broke down and I was like, I have to tell you, my husband pitched me that joke. I didn't write that one. And he goes, oh, is Gus the talent? But
The answer is no.
It's a great, I mean, you are, but whatever. Like, the thing is that, like, a really good editor or a trusted person in your life can really make a big difference. And it's not that I necessarily disagree with Harriet's decision to back off. And obviously, writers also do need to be fed, especially during deadline periods.
Yes, especially if their publisher keeps crunching them.
Yes, and I have also worked under a deadline and know that that is a difficult thing to do, and that, you know, sometimes you will look back on it and go, oh, I wish I had written this differently. I wish I had done this differently. I know how hard that is. I don't like the idea of losing Gus, my safety blanket, as somebody who reads everything I write. That would be really terrifying on top of really intense deadlines. And maybe she also had to take a step back because of those intense deadlines. But I'm just like, oh, that's like my worst fear on earth, is being so successful that everyone's like, oh, we can step back.
Well, and, you know, he was cranking these books out. Like, for clarity here, 1990, 1990, 91, 92, 93, 94, 96, 98, 2000, 2003, 2004, 2005. So the longest gap between two Wheel of Time books was Winter's Heart to Crossroads, and that was 3 years.
And listen, in a world where writers are frequently not finishing their series, much praise and applause. Well, I suppose he did not technically finish the series, but I mean, barring medical interventions, right? He was definitely on track to finish his series, which is very laudable. And I'm glad that he has that level of respect for his fans and his readers, that he was putting those books out at that level and at that rate. But yeah, that's just like a personal fear of mine, that like one day Gus would be like, I don't need to give you feedback anymore. I'd be like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Absolutely not. Now you need to give me feedback more than ever if I'm surrounded by people who are just going to say yes to me. Because the time to find out, right? And this is my big thing about this. The time to find out that something needs work or rethinking is during the writing process, not after it's published. Oh my God. That's scary. Anyway, props to Jim, though, for being at this level of success and for writing the books that he wrote. That phrase that you said was like, I would have a panic attack if you said that to me. Don't ever do that to me.
I won't have too much fun doing it, so don't worry about it.
I taught you everything you need. What do you mean? Like, no. Then at this point, you definitely need to be hand-holding me. Absolutely not. Because then it's like, what if I don't see something? Because it's like, after a while, your eyes are fucking bleeding. That's how it feels. You're looking at the same shit for so long.
Well, and you're deep in the forest. You're surrounded by trees.
You can't see a single tree. Not a single tree.
It's the other. You can't see the forest
or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you look at every tree, and all of a sudden you're like, "There's a forest."
Yeah. Well, it's like,
what do you mean?
I've brought this up before, but I wrote a play that was about there was a ticking time clock to essentially starvation, and I thought that was very, very, very consistently spoken about. And then my playwriting teacher at the time said, read it again and count how many times you mention it. And in the 95-page play, it came up thrice as like throwaway lines. So, yeah, you know, I'm not saying I'm Robert Jordan. I'm not remotely as talented a writer as Robert Jordan. It just, that's kind of a thing that can happen. Yeah. Anyway.
All of that being said, I think it was Robert Jordan who was wrong. Listen, far be it from me, because I'm clearly not as successful as Robert Jordan, right? So don't come for me about my IMDb page, which, by the way, never reflects someone's full career. But don't come for me about it, right? I know obviously he is at a different level, but I just think like I like mysteries. And so if that's what I were reading for, which I was disappointed. If that were not what I was reading for, if I didn't give a shit about Vandene, which maybe I don't, maybe plenty of you don't, and are like, Vandene who? Great, then you didn't care, and like this did not bother you. It bothers me. I'm like, why,
the overwhelming
Jim, did
sentiment.
you do this to me specifically?
The overwhelming sentiment from listeners while you were rattling off your Vandene theories was, I forgot, did Vandene do it? I can't remember.
See, I think that's not good. Because I feel, okay, this is my thing. I feel personally that this is a missed opportunity to have a badass moment.
Actually, sorry, to be clear, it was mostly, well, who did? I forget it. It's not Vandene, but who was it? Was it It wasn't Vandene, was it?
Yeah, and I think we should remember something like that. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
I just feel like this could have been a really memorable moment.
We should take an ad break, and then we should actually talk about these chapters. Because the people have been waiting for 2 weeks. So we'll be right back. Welcome back. Allie, we're going to pick it up here with Chapter 32, To Keep the Bargain. That's the chapter logo over Zoom. What is it?
What is it? It's the seatbelt.
Are you ready to find yourself in the habit? Hold on. Hang on. Allie, are you ready to find yourself in the habit of giving a fuck about the sea folk?
Boy,
because
am I.
Tonight, one night only, special feature from the house on full moon street and also the walls of Camelin. We've got a deal for you. We can get you one fuck about the sea folk. That's right, folks. Never seen before and maybe never seen again. The rarest of all things, a fuck about the sea folk for the low price of roughly 500 to 600 dead soldiers. Not even dead, not just dead, folks. These soldiers are getting bale-fired to shit by one of those kindergarten class people. And if you and the fuck about the sea folk can be yours. I'm done. All right. Anyway, you ready for this?
I loved everything about that. Thank you so much. I love your infomercials.
I do. I've missed them. I'd forgotten we had that button because we haven't had it in a minute. So
it's the stupidest thing we have, and I love it. I love everything about it.
You know what else we haven't had in a while that might have come in handy for Elayne's repeated needs to hire mercs who don't fucking turn on her like bastards?
What?
Alum. That's right. Not mentioned at all in this book, or even once since Winter's Heart. Alum has provided you, once again, with page after page of shitty fucking mercenaries who simply refuse to do their jobs. Order now, you can get 2 bands of trash fuck mercenaries who will turn the fucking corner and betray your ass the second the fucking other lady offers them $18 and a box of Krispy Kreme donuts. Krispy Kreme, full of alum. Probably not. I don't remember what alum is used for. Except for hiring trash-ass mercenaries who suck. Order now, or don't. You'll be happy if you don't. Alum.
I was or something. Oh yeah. I feel like there's someone out there who's like, I cared about the alum plotline the most, and they're just throwing their hands up in the air. They're like, that was the thing I cared about.
I love the alum.
I don't give a shit about Vandene.
So
but I love the alum.
So now
where's the alum plotline?
I've been rambling bullshit for about 3 minutes.
That's basically what this podcast is.
Yeah. What'd you think of this chap?
I liked it. I liked a lot about it.
Yeah.
I liked obviously the Vandene reveal, maybe not, but otherwise, I mean, not mad, but like
that was last chapter. We've
was that last chapter? Then what happened
this
chapter?
This chapter is the chapter where Brigitte mounts a stunning defense and gets Elayne back. And you went on a whole thing last week about it would have been more, clever of a plan to use the kin for this.
Oh yeah. Listen, okay, I stand by what I said.
Yeah.
But I was excited to see Brigitte do her thing, lead her army. That was cool. I think we could have cut down on the loss of life a bit by using the kin. I think it's a bullshit thing to say, first of all, we should have had a contingency plan in case this was a trap, because I'm sorry, House on Full Moon Street screams Trapsville. Now, granted, they don't know they're in a book, but if they did, that should have been the first sign. The second thing is that
we did talk about most of this last week.
Well, okay. Well,
you're welcome. I just wanted to let you know. Go ahead.
Well, okay. Then I don't know what else there is to be said other than the fact that I stand by that, because I think that they could have cut down on the loss of life. And I think Elayne going, they're just so innocent. I'm like, they're grown women. What are you talking about?
I believe
they're grown women who lived in Abu Dar.
I believe what you boiled it down to was we could have thought for 5 more minutes, bud.
We could have taken a 5-minute pause.
Right.
A 5-minute pause.
Chapter 32, to keep the bargain. Brigitte, you didn't take notes because you were in the car.
Yes, and I get sick in the car.
Yeah.
If I take notes.
She's hanging out. She's thinking sadly of Geidel because what's happening with Brigitte.
Is she forgetting her past life?
She's losing her past memories. She's down to 2 or 3 lives.
So Matt gets to keep all that shit in his head and she's losing hers?
Yes. She's losing her past life memories.
I cry foul. No, that's so sad.
So she's bummed. The warder bond freaks out and the warders are like, this is weird. Should we do something about this? And then the Aes Sedai start dying.
And then she might forget Geidel.
Yeah, she might forget Geidel.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh no, it's horrifically sad when you think about it. Hundreds.
I didn't even think about that.
Infinite lives, basically, in a cycle.
All the people she's loved.
Uh-huh. She's losing them. They're falling away. It's tragic. Anyway,
that's the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
The Aes Sedai start fucking dying, and the warders start charging in, and that's not great. But Elayne's fine. She's alive, and she's
obviously,
not.
Okay, obviously there are a lot of sad things, but it's up there. That's really upsetting. Oh.
So what happens this chapter, Allie? She charges back. Give me a rundown on sort of the situation on the ground, as it were.
It's basically a meat grinder, Gus. Again, we have introduced nuclear warfare to Tudor England.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Brigitte's like, everyone's going to run at that nuclear warhead and just get evaporated.
Yeah, so Aramilla, it is Aramilla,
and then
right?
all those people get erased, right? They don't go back in the...
Here's the fun thing about Balefire. Everything in the text that is stated by characters about Balefire implies that you experience permanent death of the soul when you have Balefire. Robert Jordan has said at signings, no, you don't. It just means you can't get brought back to life preemptively.
Oh, okay. So you're not like ripped from the pattern.
That is what Robert Jordan has stated.
Oh,
yes. It is a
okay.
Essentially. That said, too much Balefire can also apparently destroy the pattern. Obviously, it hasn't ever. But so I understand why most people read Balefire that way and why it essentially requires Robert Jordan to say no, it doesn't. But yeah, no, they're not permanently dead. They can still be reborn naturally. They just can't get preemptively resurrected by the Dark One.
Oh.
And yes,
Okay.
I see you processing that, and yes, it does.
The wheels are turning.
Yeah, it does change Balefire a lot. I think personally, it makes it a lot less terrifying.
It does. Yes. It does lower the stakes of the Balefire for sure.
Yeah. I think in order to kind of make the idea of permanently cycling world work, he had to find a way that it was a zero-sum game, I guess.
That you always are reborn?
Yeah. I'm not convinced that he didn't originally intend for it to be permanent death of the soul, and then he changed his mind later, because I
guess because then it was like, why didn't Ashomael just Balefire loose there? And
yeah. Well,
it would have solved that problem really fast.
But the thing about Balefire is it's like when I was reading the books, I was like, oh, Balefire is the nuclear option. Both sides have access to it. They could use it, but if they start using it, the other side will start using it, and then we don't have a pattern to save or,
Well, they're using it now.
Yeah, they are, which is weird, right? You remember in books 3 through now, every time somebody uses Balefire, Cadsuane shows up and slaps the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Balefire.
But the Black Aja are not having a problem using it they've used it before. Gianna, I think, used it at the museum.
Gianna,
thing.
yeah. Kaida, yeah,
yeah, because she was like whipping it around like it was a live fire hose.
Yeah. In the War of Power, people used Balefire to take out whole cities, and then they realized that they were potentially destabilizing the pattern to the point that it might unravel entirely, and so they mutually stopped.
I was just thinking about Tahim, because we haven't talked about
my
him
man. Is he in this army?
Because I was like, what else could he have done the past few times? And I was like, what if he let the guys who tried to assassinate Elayne in?
Oh, that's funny.
Like, that definitely happened. Tahim was there for that.
Yeah.
Tahim, for those of you who don't know, who haven't listened back, is my character who is the hapless guy with many jobs who keeps getting fired from those jobs because
he was the janitor at the Panarch's Palace when Elayne fought Maggedion. I think he was
the security guard there, actually.
Yeah. I think he rode Egwene, Rowed. He rode Egwene to the when she got captured by the White Tower. To him has come up a number of times. He was a guard at least once.
So I feel like he definitely let those assassins in.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's for sure a foot soldier in this Balefire stream. He ends up fine, but it's his horse whose head lazily spins into the air.
Oh no! Poor Tahim is traumatized.
He done been traumatized.
That's so sad. No, I don't want to I don't want to make the horse any sadder than it already is. All right, fine.
That's not Tahim's horse.
It is. Now it is.
To him was that knight's
canon. You've made it sad now.
To him was that soldier's valet.
No, Tahim didn't go. Tahim saw the Balefire and was like, not again,
not
Satan,
the fuck again.
And
no
just
way.
left. No, Tahim leaves. Tahim is Maggedion, but just a normal guy. Yeah, no, Tahim was like, absolutely not. I resign, effective immediately. Quit your job, 1812.
1,000.
1,000.
Yeah.
Quit your. That's what. Whenever Gus and I quit a job, we always yell, "Quit your job," and then the year that it is.
So Brigitta's like, we need to get people, and they go into the map room, and they're like, oh, hello, Aramilla is launching 20 fucking attacks on the walls, and she's like, that's cool. Elayne just got captured by baddies, and they're like, okay, well, we can rescue her, but if we take the whole army to rescue her, Aramilla's gonna get the city, and then we're kind of fucked because then Aramilla has the city. So what do you want to do about that? And she's like, we're going to figure it out as we go along. Sound good? And they're like, yeah.
No.
She comes up with plans.
Not if I'm there. No. It sounds horrible. I get why we have to. Get why we have to improvise. But if I were a soldier in an army, I'd be like, we are not improvising. What are you talking about?
Listen, I'm being hyperbolic. She doesn't say he's going to improvise. She goes, but Gaibon, I need every horse and halberd you can muster. The crossbowmen and archers will have to handle anything that crops up by themselves for a few hours. Elayne's been captured by dark friend Aes Sedai, and they're trying to carry her out of the city. And he's like,
I just feel
All
like
right.
Elayne should have maybe delegated this task.
which task? Getting the...
Going to confront these Black
Yeah, but she
Aja
didn't trust people not to be Black Aja themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
And she says also, there's something you need to know, Gaibon. We'll be facing at least 2 Aes Sedai, likely more. And they may have a weapon, a Terangrial that makes bale fire. Have you ever heard of that? Never. It sounds dangerous, though. Oh, it is. Dangerous enough that it's prohibited for Aes Sedai. In the War of the Shadow, even Dark Friends stopped using it. And he's like, all right, that sucks, but, at least we'll have some Aes Sedai, too. And she's like, no, they all fucking died. So we won't, actually. All of our Aes Sedai are dead.
What?
Except for, Elayne. Fuck the kin, too, apparently. We're not gonna...
I'm like, oh, they're right there. They're right there. What are we doing? Oh, my God.
Admittedly, I don't think they do combat, but, yeah, so...
And somehow, Palpatine returned.
When I got COVID...
And somehow, we forgot about the kid.
You said getting COVID... Obviously, I know COVID's still very much a thing. It's very much around.
Of course.
But you said getting COVID in 2024 really does feel like the somehow Palpatine returned of illnesses. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. My manager and I were talking recently, and he was like, oh... What's going on? And I was like, oh, Gus is sick with COVID. So I'm, taking care of him. Like he's a prisoner by like sliding, food to him, under the door basically. And my manager goes, COVID in 2024 must
it's still here, man.
Like he goes, I know that it's still here. And we all know it's still here. We all know we're all still masking. We're all still doing all the stuff. Right. But he goes, but it does feel like kind of like getting it is like now is like weirdly humiliating because it's like, that's so last season of you.
Nah, it's a virus. It sucks.
I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It was just like, we were finding the humor in the worry.
Yeah. So then the sea folk come in and they're like, what the fuck do you want? What the fuck? Can we help you? I'm going to kick, what the fuck? And she's like, I need y'all to make a gateway. Because we need to get Elayne back. And they're like, why the fuck do you need all of us for a gateway? We hate you. Fuck you. You're the worst. God damn it. And
okay.
She says, I'm being hyperbolic, as always.
No, I know. I'm pretending to be them.
Because you're all going to form a circle and make a gateway big enough to take thousands of men and horses. And she's like, that is a military operation. And the bargain very explicitly says that we are not going to participate in a military operation. So no.
Well, I guess there's only one thing to do. Get the kin. Remember them? The magic women. The women who do magic. The ones who are not bound by oaths, which is also very convenient because they can attack willy-nilly. Wilson Nilsson they can attack.
Here's the thing. I understand very much why the sea folk are like, we are not the fuck getting involved in an internal political affair. I get that. I think that's completely fair.
I have said this before. I am always pro the people of color going, I don't want to get involved in this white bullshit. Yeah. Like, that is fine with me. I am very okay with that. To me, the sea folk are not what's unreasonable in this situation. I appreciate that they delivered on their end eventually. I don't think they needed to. Well, I mean, I do think they kind of did. Unfortunately, when the fate of the world is at stake, but I also understand why they would be like, I do not want to get involved in this conflict.
Well, they're like,
I want to be separate from these groups of people.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, maybe a good instinct, but I don't know so much about not utilizing the people who are very willing to be involved in this conflict
now,
and who would want to rescue Elayne.
Brigitte does specifically think the kin were useless for this. None of them had ever used the power as a weapon. They might not even know how.
No time like the present.
I will also say that what the sea folk ultimately end up doing, with one exception, is shielding them and tying them up with air.
Well, here's the other problem.
They drop one lightning bolt. And then they shield the rest of them and tie them up with air.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's the thing. can we just discuss? One, why aren't they being trained to use the power as a weapon? Because they are not bound by any fucking oaths. And also, it might need to happen. We're in the apocalypse. Can I remind these people? They seem to constantly be forgetting that we're in the apocalypse. We have this group of people not bound by any oaths. Quite convenient for us, actually. Why are we not teaching them at least defensive measures? They're also being killed right now.
They have been getting hunted down and murdered, yes.
Why are they not learning how to defend themselves at the very least? 2, isn't one of them like Super Shielder Girl?
Yeah. I don't know if she can,
like
but yeah.
grow her shields around
can flex,
shit. Can't she just link with everybody else in the kin? Because they can also link. We know that about them, right? She just link with all the other people in the kin and build a super shield? Riddle me this, Batman.
I guess, I don't know. Maybe they needed the one lightning bolt. It is harder to shield women who are already channeling.
Is it that hard to do a lightning bolt?
I don't know.
What did the lightning bolt really accomplish?
Stunned everybody.
Just some general panic.
It killed one of them and it stunned all the other ones. And I think they probably all stopped channeling for a moment because of it.
Well, what if one of them turned to them and was like, "I'll give you $5 if you teach me how to channel a lightning bolt right now. Just give me what I need. There's your bargain. I'll give you $5.
Look,
I will give you the most genuine smile right now if you just give me like how much spirit, how much air.
All I'm pointing out, because I got to point it out, is that the book does give us a reason why they don't go with the kin.
It's a stupid reason.
So
I get that there's an explanation. I'm saying the explanation is flawed. The explanation is dumb.
So they take some people and they get a bunch of dudes.
We needed 5 minutes. Again, we needed 5 minutes to be like, maybe we go get the kin because they can shield everybody.
She gets them to agree to make the gateway, and they get a shitload of dudes to go out there. And Brigitte's like, a lot of these people are gonna.
Wait, can I just say one more thing? The kin are useless in this situation.
Yeah,
the kin are useless. Who is more useless in your mind? A bunch of powerless men who are just going to be meat grindered at something, which is definitely a plan B we could have gone with, right? Or women who can channel against women who can channel.
Well, she kind of actively and deliberately.
I know she deliberately meat grinders the men. I know
right,
this.
Yeah. She meat grinders the men to demonstrate to the sea folk why they are needed. Like, she even thinks straight up, how many would be dead before noon? She pushed that thought out of her mind. She needed every one of them to convince the sea folk. Any man who died today could die as easily on the wall tomorrow. Any man of them had come to Camelin prepared to die for Elayne.
I get that Robert Jordan waved away the kid because he wanted to do this scene so that he could play into his thesis, right? I get that. God forbid we don't play it. We play into the thesis with Vandene as well, but like whatever. That's an aside. I get that he wanted to do this as like a thesis thing. And I get that that's why we had to wave the kin away, right? However, in world, if we're in world, this is all bullshit. In world, this is bullshit. I get why craft-wise he wanted to do this. I get that. And I am not going to be like, then don't do it. But I am saying that the kin are right there, sitting there, ready to be utilized. Why aren't we training them? Why aren't we doing what we need to do with the kin? My ladies, we need to figure that shit out. But also, okay, and I get the Brigitte just, but why not try the kin first?
Because if Elayne is taken away, there's a ticking time clock here, which is if Elayne gets taken all the way out of the city, they can't get her back. If she makes it like
they're coming.
Who?
The Black Aja don't know that the other people are coming.
Yeah, but Elayne is in a wagon riding away from the city as this is happening. She's currently riding through the city, and then she goes through the gates, and then she's riding out into the woods, and if they lose sight of her, they're fucked.
We can't shield them super fast?
That's the question kind of is if they could, or if they're already channeling, or if they'd be able to, and I listen,
I just feel like that's quicker. Than the tirade of dudes.
Might be. They might. Here's the. They might also. They might also be in a circle themselves. They might not be able to. Even though we have Super Shield Girl, it is exponentially harder to shield people who are already channeling. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm
just saying. I think we hand waved the kin away, which is fine.
Gives the sea folk something to do.
It is sad that it took this level of I don't know. It did give the sea folk something to do, which I am in favor of giving them something to do. It did predicate on manipulating them, though.
It did. And kind of guilting them into it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take a quick ad break. We'll be right back. Welcome back.
I mean, listen, the scene is good.
Yeah,
The
scene's
scene
great.
is good. I like the scene. I do. I think that it plays into Robert Jordan's thesis really well. I'm just saying.
So a shitload of soldiers are getting ready to get fucking killed.
Yeah.
And
I do think we need to understand that that we're in the apocalypse.
yeah. Some of the mercenaries turned coat. Very exciting. Not actually very exciting. Fuck the mercenaries. The mercenaries suck. Unless they're the Band of the Red Hand, in which case they're chill. As you may recall, there is one good mercenary company in this world, and it is the Band of the Red Hand, and the rest of them are scoundrels.
Hey, Robert Jordan really said nuance.
Yeah.
There's nuance. I don't want to offend the mercenaries. All those mercenary groups we have.
The kids want to, the kids all want to help out, the little lordlings and lordlets. And Dylan is like, fucking calm down. Holy shit. You're not going to charge into battle at the front. You're going to get meat grindered if you do that. So let's all take a chill pill breather, okay?
I mean, not wrong.
So they make this gateway.
Children yearn for the battlefields. Every time there's a child and there's a battle, the children are like, I want to go too. I want to fight. If it were me, I'd be like,
absolutely
y'all go.
Fuck not.
Stay safe. Love you.
So they make the gateway, and the people come out, and Chanel is also there, and she's like, "Why did you bring me through the gateway? What the fuck do you want from me?" And Brigitte is like, "Here, hold on, just watch what happens. All right, we're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna watch this happen. I want you to watch this as this happens."
Mm-hmm.
And the men start riding out, and they start just dropping lightning on the Black Odds. Just start raining lightning down on the men.
Oh my God, I just thought of something really funny. I'm sorry. This is apropos of very little, but I just thought about the fact that Robert Jordan was like, there's a tower of like a couple thousand Aes Sedai, right? A couple thousand?
Yeah.
And he was like, and I'm going to name every single one of them, and you will meet every single one.
Pretty much. Also, if we are going to be douchey and nitpick this, the kin might have been able to copy a lightning bolt after seeing it. If we're going to be assholes about it.
Well,
but
that's
Brigitte
what I was
also
saying,
might not have known that.
I was like, well, here's what we could have done. We're back where the castle is, right? We
They're
go, all
outside
right,
the
let's
walls.
go up on the roof really quick. 5-minute pause. Again, 5-minute 10 minutes would have made this whole
But
experience.
Elayne might have gotten away. Elayne might have gone too far. Listen, I understand what you're coming from here. I get it. I get it.
It takes 3 minutes. We gateway up. Show me the weave to do a lightning. Show them the weave to do a lightning bolt. Takes 3 minutes. We gateway out of there.
I get it.
Boom.
I feel
Problem
like
solved.
we've taken this as far as we can. And now
No, I'm not taking it far enough.
All right. So yeah, they start riding and lightning.
Now really I'm just doing a lot of this because people were giving me pushback in Discord. So I'm now just obstinately doubling down.
They start dropping lightning bolts on them, and they start getting killed, and shit's blowing up, and the sea folk are like, why did you want us to see this? This is fucked up and horrible, and we hate this, and this is awful. And then the balefire streams start, and people just start vanishing, and everything is awful, but the men keep riding, and they're brave and cool. And Chanel is like, I have no desire to watch men die. And they continue to die, and Brigitte is like, well, then kill the people who are killing them. Because if you don't, Elayne loses and your bargain is no longer in effect.
And again, I'm a soldier down below. And I'm thinking, is this really the best plan we could come up with? Did we use all of the tools at our disposal before going Operation Throw a Bunch of Dudes at the problem? I don't think it inspires confidence in leadership to throw these lives away so Wilson Nilsson.
So, wait a minute. Okay, so they drop lightning bolts. It's very exciting. Another bolt of lightning flashed down and struck the woman holding the rod. She flew in one direction, her mount in the other. One of the wagon team sagged to the ground, while the others danced and reared. They would have run except for their dead trace mate. "Take the others alive!" Brigitte snapped. She did not care whether they lived. They would die soon enough for being dark friends and murderers, but Elayne was in that bloody wagon. Chanel nodded stiffly, and around the wagon, riders began toppling from their fractious mounts to lie struggling on the ground as if bound hand and foot, which they were.
Fractious.
Of
That's
course.
a good word.
The running man fell on his face and lay writhing. "I shielded the women, too," Chanel said. I want you to listen to this part, Allie. "Even holding the power, they would have been no match for a circle of 8. How many kin do we have? I don't remember.
Like
it might not be that
45.
many. Is it that many?
Again, I just think we had other options. We take a pre-K pause, as they say on the TikTok. We take a pre-K pause and we do a quick tutorial, a quick YouTube tutorial of how to do a lightning bolt, and then we go out there.
Well, it seems like they may not have. And by the way,
they might not even have needed the lightning
I know
bolt.
we're nitpicking. That's what we are doing today. They might not have needed it because it sounds like they might have been able to shield them.
I wouldn't have to nitpick if there weren't nits.
So, Guy, again, to reiterate, very cool scene.
No, it's a really
Very
cool
cool
scene.
scene.
And I will die on the hill that the scene is very cool. And we did need it. I just needed a slightly better explanation for why we didn't take the kill.
Guy Bon raised his hand, slowing the charge to a walk. It was remarkable how short a time it had all taken. He was less than halfway to the wagon. Men mounted and afoot were still pouring out of the gateway. Swinging into the dun saddle, Brigitte galloped toward Elayne. Bloody woman, she thought. The bond had never once carried any hint of fear. And that's the end of chapter 32. Chapter 33.
Elayne is so ballsy.
She is.
It's so funny. She's just like,
I'm fine.
this is to be expected.
Well, this is the one time that she thinks to herself, oh, well, the viewing, I'll be fine.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. She knows Brigitte is in this battle. If
Yes.
I sense no fear from her when I am riding in the battle, just because she's not going to die doesn't mean I'm not going to die. I'd paddle her ass. I'd be like, what do you mean? What do you mean that you're not worried? You're not worried about me? Your bestie over here? Your drinking pal?
Chapter 33, Allie, is called 9 out of 10. That's the logo. What is it?
It is a badass last line, though.
It is.
But not a hint of.
Oh,
it
God,
is bad.
yeah. And
it
she's-
is
yeah,
badass. I
Elaine's
just
a
be like,
badass.
what do you mean you're not even a little bit worried about me?
That's the logo. What is it?
It's a lion.
It's the
Of
lion.
Andor, probably.
You did take notes for this one.
Did I?
Yeah.
Hot dog. Is this chapter? No.
33.
I do not have notes on this chapter.
Yeah, you did. You took
That
notes.
is a lie. A
Did you take them
damnable
on?
lie.
Did you take them on my phone?
You took them.
I took them.
Yes. I yelled at you to take them.
I did.
Yes, because I was
No.
making that present for my friend's baby shower.
No, you didn't. No,
Uh-huh.
that was Roll on Death Chap.
Oh.
You have notes. You definitely do.
I am looking at them currently at this moment.
Oh my!
And it's chapter 26.
I was certain you took notes.
Damn, I haven't taken notes in a minute. I'm sorry.
Well, we haven't through 30. It's really just this.
Well, maybe-
these episodes.
Knife of Dreams? No, I got nothing.
Oh, well, there you go. Fuck me then. We do not have notes for this chapter. 9 out of 10 is the chapter name. It is an Elayne chapter. Initial thoughts on this one, Allie, my dear.
What happened again?
They get Elayne back. And she gets 9
yeah.
out of 10 votes to be queen.
Oh, we just solved it.
9 out of 10. She needs one more.
Oh, we pretty much solved it.
Yeah, we're close. She's in the wagon. She's like, well, this sucks. It's kind of a bummer, but I will be okay. I know that because of the viewing. Therefore, I'm going to be all right. My memory of this scene is very different. I thought she
Not at all
evoked-
concerned about Brigitte.
I thought
or,
she-
the rest of her friends, whatever.
or all the soldiers. Which again, I
Yeah,
understand. Here's the thing.
yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. We shit on Perrin all the time for being like, "Oh, my soldiers." So we cannot be hypocritical with Elayne.
We can and we will. I will be hypocritical anytime I please. What are you talking about?
All right.
I could be hypocritical as much as I fucking want to. No, because here's the thing. Perrin does not do the things that he needs to do when it is necessary to do them, he should still feel bad.
Sure.
Like, you do want him to feel bad. You just don't want him to then have that mean that he like unhealthily flagellates himself when he has done the right thing. It just sucks because sometimes doing the right thing means that bad stuff happens, right? Versus Elayne, who does not feel bad at all and like kind of got herself into this situation. Like, yeah, she maybe needed to do this, but like, then have the decency to feel a little bad about the fact that you got all these men killed, right? Which you can hear in the wagon that's happening, right?
She does.
And,
She feels sadness.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good. That's all I'm asking for. But then be a little concerned about like Brigitte, your friend. I'm just saying. Like, just because you're not going to die does not mean like your friends aren't going to die, and you might be horribly mangled, maimed. Who knows?
Chapter 33, 9 out of 10. She's like, well, this sucks. This is a bummer. This is really kind of it didn't work out so hot. It's kind of a bummer.
Don't need all your fingers to give birth, girly. Like, what are we talking about?
After all, she was perfectly safe until her babies were born, and so were her babies. Min had said so.
That is a leap of logic akin to one of my own. Truly.
There seemed to be more than one horse pulling the wagon. Her situation seemed hopeless, but Brigitte would not fail her.
But what if she dies, though? You don't know that she's not going to die in the process. Like, this is my thing, girly. Think about other people, though.
She felt Brigitte leap from somewhere miles behind her to perhaps a mile ahead, and she wanted to laugh. The bond said Brigitte was aimed at her target, and Brigitte Silverbow never missed. When the channeling started,
badass.
On both sides of the wagon, the desire to laugh faded. Determination held rock steady in the bond, but there was something else as well now, a strong distaste and a rising, not anger, but close. Men would be dying out there. Instead of laughing, Elayne wanted to weep for them. They deserved someone.
That's what I wanted.
They deserved someone to weep for them, and they were dying for her, as Vandene and Saritha had died.
Kind of unnecessarily, if you ask me, but...
Sadness for them welled up in her again. No guilt, though. Only by letting Phalion and Marilyn walk free could they have been spared, and neither would have countenanced that.
Feel a little guilt, like a little as a treat.
There had been no way to anticipate the arrival of the others, or that strange weapon Asney had. So, anyway,
I'm not harshing on Perrin because he is feeling bad about the fact that people die. I'm harshing on Perrin about the fact that he avoids the problem, or that he is like overly flagellating himself for that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
But I'm looking for a good middle ground. I mean, and Elayne's doing it.
Elayne is a hell of a lot closer to the ideal response here than Perrin or Rand.
Oh my God, Rand.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, he is all over the spectrum on that.
Yeah.
It is like bizarre.
Yeah.
1 minute he's like, I don't give a fuck. Kill them all. Who cares? And the next minute he's like, my maidens, I can't do it. There's one that's in peril. And I'm like, Rand, we need to get it together. We're Christmas treeing all over that spectrum. And we need to find that middle ground really fast because, we're in the apocalypse. Again, I just need to remind us all that we're in the apocalypse. Act accordingly.
Guess who agrees with you, by the way, about the plan? Once she could Brigitte saves her. Once she could spit out the gag, she wanted to ask for water to wash away the oily taste, but instead she said, "What kept you?" Her laughter at the other woman's sudden consternation was cut short by another sneeze. "Let's get out of here, Brigitte. The kin? Windfinders."
What kept you? See?
Janelle decided she'd rather not report losing her bargain to Zaida. So Elayne agrees with you.
Listen, I get it. Robert Jordan just wanted to write the scene for the craft. Even he knew, though, that he should have brought the kid. This proves it. He was like, no, I specifically did not bring the kid because I wanted this scene because my thesis. And I get it. Sometimes we need to do stuff for the thesis. But even he knew. He's like, Elayne is calling it out. She's like, where are the kid? Where? Yeah, exactly, Elayne. Where are the kid?
So, Asney's dead. RIP. R.I.P. F's in the chat for a real one. Goodbye, another of the kindergarten class. We have the other ones. We've got Tamila. We've got Phalion. We've got...
Asney sounds a lot like Asney.
It does. I think you've made that joke.
Unfortunate for her. What?
I think you've made that joke, and I support it.
I'm sure I have, because it sounds a lot like Asney.
We've got Marilyn.
And that's not me being mean about Asney. That's just what it sounds like.
And of course, we've got Chesmal fucking Emery. So that's cool. And Chesmal goes, "How did they find us?" Chesmal fucking Emery demanded. If she had not been lying in the road with a dirty face, no one would have thought her a prisoner. "My warder," Elayne said, smiling at Brigitte. "One of them."
And then they get hella sexist about it.
"A woman? What the fuck is this shit? What the fuck? God damn it."
And I think that's really dumb.
That's the Black Aja for you.
Black Aja for you. Aisa die for you.
I know. You're right.
Silly. Gandalf specifically needs a man bodyguard. Specifically a man. Women can't protect Aes Sedai. That's stupid.
So
that's some internalized misogyny right there.
They grab all the people, all the prisoners, and Elayne goes up to Charles Gaibon, the legend, and goes, "What's the butcher's..." Oh, this is Brigitte. "What's the butcher's bill, Gaibon?" "I don't have a full tally yet, my lady. Some of the bodies..."
Butcher's bill?
How many people died?
I get that, but like...
Oh, it's a common phrase in fantasy like this. Have you not heard that before?
That's so callous.
Oh, very... Well, yeah. I mean, these people are dealing with this on like a daily fucking basis.
That's so callous.
That's a common phrase in fantasy like this. And possibly in the real world. Yeah, I know.
Those are people.
I know, but right now they have to...
Not to mention horses.
Yeah. There were a lot of dead horses.
I am sad about that because of who I am as a person. But yeah, no, if someone came up to me and was like, if I overheard the person in charge of me referring to our casualties that day as the butcher's bill, I would quit the army.
I don't know. I mean, it's the fantasy army. You're signing up to kill or be killed in a lot of these cases. So
I still think you should have some respect for the fact that those were people.
I get it.
I think that's a fucked up phrase.
It's very common in the genre.
It's fucked up. I don't care if it's common. It's fucked up. That's a fucked up thing to say. That's what fucked up people say.
"I don't have a full tally yet, my lady. Some of the bodies..." Charles grimaced. "I'd say as many as 500 or 600 dead, though. Perhaps a few more. Twice as many wounded, one way and another, and as nasty a few minutes as I've ever seen." And Elayne...
of course it is. You haven't seen nuclear weapons in Tudor England yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't like that phrase.
So...
That was a fucked up thing. Jesus Christ.
Aramilla...
Butcher's bill.
It's a common phrase in fantasy. I don't know. It's a common phrase in fiction.
My God. I would quit the army. Period. Yeah. Oh, my God.
So
those are people. Oh my God!
I think it's a way. I think it's a way of compartmentalizing away the horror until you can deal with it later.
Listen, I understand that. I understand that, like in professions where you see a lot of death and stuff, you do have to kind of harden towards stuff. I just also am like, I don't know how hardened should we be to stuff. I don't know that.
So they decide they want to hammer and anvil Aramilla in the ass, which is,
sure.
Yeah. And Elayne's like, "Give me a horse." And Brigitte goes, "You'll ride surrounded by your bodyguard. This isn't some fool story with a queen carrying her banner into battle to lead her troops. I know one of your ancestors did that, but you're not her, and you don't have
kind of the expectation, though.
It can be. She says, "You don't have a broken army to rally." "Why, that was exactly my plan," Elayne said sweetly. "However did you guess?"
Because that's what they do. That's what the princess is supposed to do.
Not always. You don't have to do it every time. It's just like it's a thing and/or and princesses sometimes do. Daughter heirs.
I thought it was like what their like obligation was.
I don't think so. Because she hasn't been in any of the battles so far.
Yeah, but that would. But I thought, yeah, but the battles have been being fought from inside the wall.
And she's been in the palace. It's a thing that she can do.
Yeah, but they're not
she has to do.
Like they're fighting along the walls.
Yeah.
They're not like fighting in the streets.
And I think
like,
sometimes
why would
she
have to come down from the palace? Like it's in a situation where like you gotta rally the troops because they're going to defend the princess.
Brigitte comments on how they need Matt's luck, and Elayne is like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's like, Matt's lucky as fuck. Did you not know this?
Have you not noticed that? He's like weirdly lucky?
Oh, weird. All right. Not going to cogitate on that one. And there's a big fight. It's very dramatic. She worries she's sending these men to their deaths for nothing. Luckily, it all works out fine. She wins. It's very dramatic.
This is nice that they're able to, go from the back.
Yeah.
I wish... Well, maybe we could have thought of... Well, I don't know. Could we have thought of this sooner?
No, because they were taking Elayne out of the city.
I know, but attacking them for gatewaying out and attacking them from behind.
Who? The
army.
You talking about the wagon that Elayne was in?
No, I'm talking about the other army.
Oh, probably not worth it because they've essentially committed all of their forces and Aramilla herself. Aramilla's there. So they're doing it now because Aramilla is there and they're going to capture Aramilla.
Oh,
because remember Aramilla's whole thing was she was like, I'm gonna walk through the gates myself when we take the city. I'm gonna be the first one through.
Idiot.
Her whole thing was like, I'm gonna fucking do it myself. I'm gonna make myself known. So she's there because she thinks this is the day she wins. It's not. It's the day she loses horribly. Yeah, so they start fighting and killing people and then they start yelling for quarter and everybody throws down their weapons and it's very exciting and it is genuinely a very exciting little scene. The three were garbed as if they had intended to attend Aramilla's coronation that very day. Her red silk dress was sewn
That is what the intention was.
Sewn with seed pearls on the bosom and embroidered with rearing white lions marching up the sleeves. Nian, slim and straight-backed in blue, with the silver triple keys of Iran climbing her sleeves and silver scrollwork across her bosom, her gleaming black hair, caught in a silver net set with sapphires, seemed subdued rather than numb. Honey-haired Elayne, in her green elaborately embroidered with gold, shared her glares between Aramilla and Elayne. Brigitte's dislike of these women was as personal as Elayne's own. "You'll be my guests in the palace for the time being," Elayne told them. "I hope your coffers are deep. Your ransoms will pay for this war you've caused." That was malicious of her, but she felt spiteful all of a sudden. Their coffers were not deep at all. And Aramilla goes, "You cannot believe it ends this way. Jared is still in the field with a considerable force. Jared and others. Tell her, Elayne." And...
It's over, girlie.
Yeah.
You're done.
So, and then Lear, Baron, and Karen Anshar show up. And Sylvace. Remember Sylvace?
I do remember Sylvace. Hi, Sylvace.
Sylvace also shows up.
She's chill, right? We like her.
Sylvace immediately goes, "Karen stands for Trakand. My grandfather suffered a seizure, Aramilla, and my cousins fell over themselves affirming me as high seat. I'll publish it, Elayne, if you wish."
Oh, the creepy old guy stuff?
Creepy old dude fucking died.
Fuck yeah.
And
yes.
And Sylvace, who has been acting...
I don't normally root for old people's
death,
of course but not. That guy sucked.
That guy sucked. Sylvace, who had been acting like basically a moron, for lack of a better term. She's just kind of been acting like, I don't really know what's going on here, and I'm just here for the food, and I don't really care about this politics stuff. She's like, yeah, I'm extremely sharp, actually. So fuck you. I'm in charge now.
I love that.
I hate this shit. My grandfather, my shit-ass, whatever, creepy relative is dead. I'm in charge now. Guess what? Go Team Elayne.
Yay. We love Sylvace. I like Sylvace. Yay, Sylvace.
This would not be the first time a house had switched sides, even without the death of a high seat, but best to be certain. "Trakand welcomes Karen warmly, Sylvace." She goes, "If you trust me a little, may I have custody of Aramilla, Nian, and Elayne? In the royal palace, of course, or wherever you choose to house me. I believe my new secretary, Master Lunault, may be able to convince them to throw their support to you." He's her torturer. And they're like, ugh! And Elayne is like, "Nope, no, that's not you don't have to do that.
That's unnecessary.
That's fine. That's fine. We don't got to do that."
So Sylvace is intense.
A little much.
She's like, "I'll torture him for you. I don't care."
And she goes, "Nian and Elayne have published their support of Aramilla. They'll hardly destroy themselves by recanting." Because she's like, did you see the context here?
That they were gonna. She was like, "I'll torture them for you," and then Elaine's like, "That's not necessary because what?"
They have gone out and publicly published that they are supporting Aramilla. And if they renege on that and say, never mind, we're pro-Trakand, their political reputations are completely fucked.
Why is that a good thing?
It's not. She's saying, don't bother torturing them. I'm never going to be able to get their votes because as long as Aramilla is arguing that she's like, as long as anything, essentially, like they voted for Aramilla, and if they try to go back on that vote now, it'll annihilate their public opinion and destroy their house's influence because everybody will be like, oh, you're a waffler.
So then what do you...
They just have
didn't Sylvace just do that, though?
Sylvace never actually swore for anybody.
Interesting.
Yeah. And also the previous high seat, even if he had sworn, I don't know if he did, he died.
Right. So it can be like, I have a different opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not the house. It's the head.
Yeah.
So then what do you do? Do you kill them?
You just got to stick with your shitty opinion, basically.
Well, I know, but if you're Elayne, then what do you do?
I think if Aramilla switched her support, then they would have cause to be like, okay, fine.
Then they could.
But Aramilla's not going to do that because she sucks.
So then do you kill Aramilla? So, but if she kills Aramilla... And
also, as for Aramilla... I
don't know why I'm really pushing this killing thing.
Elayne would not allow Aramilla to change her tune. She would refuse the woman's support if it were offered.
Okay.
So she's saying essentially, you're a piece of shit, and I am not going to rise to power with you, like, as somebody who voted for me. I'm not going to be politically indebted to you.
Because if I rise to power with pieces of shit, then it's going to stink.
Right.
Okay. I get what you're putting down.
And then the other two who are there go, Baron stands for Trakand. I too will publish it, Elayne. And Anne Shah stands for Trakand. I will send the proclamations out today. And Aramilla goes, traitors! I'll see you dead for this! And she, like, goes for her dagger, but she's already been disarmed because she's a fucking idiot.
And you literally go, you and what army?
Yeah. And Elayne is like, oh, okay, well, I need one more vote. Fucking awesome. This is great. I'm sold. This is terrific.
There are still houses that are on the fence, right?
There are still houses that are on the fence.
But I feel like because she just had a major victory over Aramilla.
I mean, who the fuck else are they going to support? It was Aramilla or Elayne, pretty much, or unaligned. So,
yeah. So now Elaine's proven herself.
Yeah.
And there's really no one else to go for, so...
So she's captured pretty much the entire remaining kindergarten class, which I think is important to mention.
Everything's coming up Elayne.
Everything is coming up Elayne right now. So, like, yeah, could she have handled things better? Sure. Could we have come out of this without killing 500 to 600 soldiers? Sure. Is this a massive dub for Elayne? Absolutely.
Listen, if white men get to fail upward, so does Elayne.
Absolutely. Brigitte goes, you're awfully quiet. You've just won a great victory. And in a few hours, she replied, I'll learn whether I have to win another.
I'm really proud of Elayne.
I am too. You know
what? She has proven she is not a Nepo baby.
She is not.
That was a big concern of hers. Yeah. She is not a Nepo baby.
She's on the ball.
She is standing on her own 2 feet right now. She is, you know what? For all of my critiques of this plan of hers and Brigitte's, they pulled it off. It sucks that they lost so many people because I'm just not into big casualties. Hot take. I don't want people who work for me to die en masse. But this went about as well as it could have.
What's the Zapp Brannigan line?
I don't remember. Which one are you referring to?
Zapp Brannigan, essentially, Brigitte said, you see, killbots have a preset kill limit. The Black Aja has a preset kill... No, sea folk have a preset disgusted with kill limit. Knowing their weakness, I sent wave after wave of my own men at them until they reached their limit and shut down.
Okay, because that is kind of what they just did.
It's the Zapp Brannigan method. We're going to kill people until the sea folk decide that enough. Holy shit, stop killing people.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh my God, what is going on? This is wild shit right now.
I need Weiramon to come back so I can do more Zapp Brannigan voice.
Yeah, I mean, I think other than the fact that this was kind of a Zapp Brannigan plan, or pretty much verbatim was a Zapp Brannigan plan, they pulled it off.
It worked out.
It really did. Everything's coming up Elayne. And I'm proud of my girl.
I am too.
She and Egwene, they're doing the thing. And hey, San's men. Mm-hmm. San's being rescued by men. Well, I guess technically.
Charles helped, but Brigitte led the rescue.
Yeah, but
this was a big chapter for women.
This is
in the
pretty
Wheel of
big
Time.
win for the women.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a women chapter.
Mhm.
You know what? I really enjoyed that.
I did too.
For all my nitpicking.
Well,
and
why do you
being
think
like,
we were fucking
meh.
nitpicking?
Part of it was just I was
Look,
mad about Vandene.
we were going off the fucking top rope about like, well, if you thought of course it doesn't really matter that much. It's tiny. That's the
it
point.
was a badass chapter. Elayne is a badass, right?
Yeah.
She did the thing. She got captured. Then Brigitte did the thing. And then they basically caught all the Black Aja. Yes, they lost a lot of people, which that sucks.
Yeah.
But they did what they needed to do. They caught all the people, and now Elayne is the Queen of Andor. So,
Well, and she needs one more vote.
Please, she'll be fine.
We'll see how this one turns out.
Don't. Oh God.
Next time on. Hold on.
No, what's going to happen? No, by the end of this book, we're solving this crisis. By the end of this book, we're done.
Are you in the
That's
market
my prediction.
for one more vote?
Oh God.
One more vote to become Queen of Andor? Well, for the low, low price of read and find out. Enough of that.
And I got another bingo. Well,
I didn't make a
guess
card,
I'm
did I?
Close to another bingo.
Oh, fuck.
I vote.
Okay, well, just in
Do
time
it while
for
you're
the
editing
finale.
today.
Just in time for the finale. Yeah, bingo cards. There will be one. And we'll find out next week. You're going to have a chance. You're going to have a chance before the finale, before we record it, before you continue reading. And we'll record this at some point, and then I'll stick it at the beginning of the finale. You're going to have a chance to move your bingo card sheet around after This is a good indication of how much shit there is going on right now. We're going to make a bingo card. Good Lord.
Okay.
All right.
Can I share really quickly before we're done?
Why didn't we do it now? Tell you what, read them off to me. Read the card off to me.
Okay. While we're
And-
thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me get the card. Sorry for the clicking. myfreebingocards.com. Bingo card generator.
And you're doing it
Knife
at random?
of dreams at last. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Gawain makes definitive choice between Egwene and Elaida.
Okay.
Min gets bad viewings about Tuon. That didn't happen. Neither of those things have happened yet.
Okay.
Tuon, it's a trap. I got that one. Swan and Gareth Bryn kith. Elayne becomes Queen of Andor. I'm feeling really good about my chances here.
Okay.
Fael is rescued. Check.
Nailed it.
Perrin
Wait. Ah, shit. Hold on. There you go. Okay.
Perrin kills Roland. Check. Are you playing a thing every time I
Yes.
win?
Yes.
Okay. Tom Moraine letter reveal. Check. Moraine revealed to be alive. Check. Rand loses hand. Check. A Forsaken dies. Not yet. But I do kind of feel good about my chances, maybe. Free space,
Yeah.
which is problematic gender dynamics.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Galad kills Aemon Valda, hopefully. Check. Joyland dies. Did not happen. Shiriam revealed to be triple agent. Adelius's killer revealed. Check. Davram Bashir dies. Massima dies, hopefully. Didn't happen. Aram kills someone innocent. Now,
He didn't really kill people.
he tried.
He didn't, though. He failed.
Whatever. Hopper lets Perrin be in Telyron Riyadh for longer than a second. Still no.
No Telyron Riyadh stuff from Perrin this book.
No. The Band of the Red Hand is reunited with Matt. Check. Alana dies. Nope. Not yet, anyway. Egwene gets tortured. Check. Egwene gets rescued. No. There were offers, though.
There were.
Slayer kills something. Slayer does anything.
Yeah.
Nope, not this book yet.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pause recording for a second, and then I'm going to make the card, and I'm going to randomly... Well, I can do this while we're talking. Can't I?
Sure.
Allie, any other anything while we're doing this? 30 cards for free.
I feel like I did pretty well, actually. Let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that means I could move 2.
You can move 2
for these finale episodes.
All right. So I've generated 30 cards and picked one at random. Fuck. Picked one at random, and it's number 22. I don't know why I did that.
Start getting started on my next bingo.
I know. Just in time to do this one at all. Okay, wait.
Listen,
I'm opening it up.
We're doing our best.
I'm opening it up in paint.net, a great program that I love. Picture bingo COD OMG finally. Okay. Where did I put folders? Folders are a nightmare.
I'm trying to think who else we probably will see by the end of the book. I think we're wrapped on Perrin for right now, in my opinion. Bran lost a hand. We could see more fallout from that. How many pages do we have left?
70.
We haven't checked in with Matt in a while.
We have not.
Are we done with Matt?
Maybe not. Circle, red, opacity, 50%. Okay, there we go. All right. So what do we have so far? Band of the Red Hand reunited. Check. Fail gets rescued. Check. What the hell? Okay. Oh my God. I'm a mess. Fail gets rescued. Check. Adelia's killer revealed. Check. 2 on It's a Trap. Check. Problematic gender dynamics. Check. Galad kills Eamon Valda. Check.
Yeah, I got that one so fast.
Rand loses hand. Check. Egwene tortured. Check. Tom Mo letter revealed. Check. Perrin kills Roland. Check. M revealed to be alive. All right, Allie, I'm going to share my screen with you, and you will be able to see. You will be able to see what we've got.
Finally have the bingo card
going on.
We keep forgetting about it.
Can you see it? You actually have 2 4 in a row. You have 2 4 in a row. So the fourth, and this card is going to be linked in the description. In the 4th column, Fael gets rescued, Adelia's killer revealed, Galad kills Eamon Valda, Swan Gareth Kith, Moiraine revealed to be alive. 4 in a row. And then the middle row, 2 on It's a Trap, Elayne becomes queen, problematic gender dynamics, Galad kills Valda, Rand loses a hand. And then you have 2 3 in a rows. The middle column, Band of the Red Hand reunited with Matt, Alana dies, problematic gender dynamics, Joylin dies, Perrin kills Roland. And then across the bottom row, Davram dies, Tom Mo letter reveal, Perrin kills Roland, M revealed to be alive, Egwene rescued.
Okay. I feel like I definitely get
2.
What? Can I know who still has chapters left?
I've told you some things, and I'm not going to repeat them.
You're not going to repeat them?
Nope.
On who has chapters left?
Not now. Not while you're doing this.
You fuck. Okay. Okay. I think we're done with Perrin.
Okay.
I think Elayne becomes queen. We're solving the succession crisis this book, I think.
So you're going to leave that, right? Then? You need that to get a bingo.
That I feel like is the thing I'm most sure will happen.
All right.
Right? I thought, oh my God, I have bingo for sure. Right? I mean, that
is what you have said.
That feels like definite. But what if we're done with Elayne? Are we done with Elayne for this book?
You're going to have to read and find out.
Oh my God, Gus, please. Okay. It's fine. All right. Who do I think we're not done with? It's possible. I think Perrin's done. That feels like a completed arc to me. What was the last thing we saw Matt do? Meet up with a band?
Kill a bunch of Shan-Chen.
Did they have any plans of anything they wanted to do?
They're going to try to punch out of that valley.
Okay, so I think we'll see him again.
Well, are there any plot threads with Matt that you would expect to be resolved this book that haven't been? Like,
I mean,
because
I'm not really sure where his plotline is going.
well, what has been the primary focus on? Because you've spoken extensively about how you think like, oh my God, this is what we're spending all our time with Matt on. Is
well, Tuon stuff, but I don't have anything there that's Tuon related.
I think we had also allowed you to
Rewrite
in the past.
for how many?
I think here's what you can do. You can move to, or you can
I can move to.
rewrite. You can move to, or you can move one and rewrite one, but you can't rewrite two.
I feel like the rule should be I can move to or rewrite one.
That's fine. I was trying to give you more than that, but that's fine. We can keep it with that.
Well, I just think that rewriting is
You think that's more
fair?
fair? All right, that's fine. So you can move to, or you can rewrite one.
Or not. I mean, honestly, I want to win, so I'm willing to take
listen.
the
You
easy.
suggested it. We're gonna stick with that. You can move to, or you can rewrite one.
Okay. Last thing we saw is Rand lost a hand.
Yes.
Is that
So of these characters,
how many pages do we have? Can I know that?
70.
How many chapters do we have left?
34, 35, 36, 7, 4, and an epilogue.
4 and an epilogue.
So let's do this, right? You're saying
How many chapters did we get of Rand?
this book?
No, those those chapters of him with the Shan Chan stuff. How many chapters was that?
Let me see.
And how many chapters of Perrin did we get in a row? I'm starting to sense a pattern.
Rand, you had 4 chapters of Rand from 18 to
Before
21, and then 1 chapter of Rand in chapter 27, and Rand has not been in this book outside of that.
Okay.
Perrin, you had 2 chapters, then 1, then 3. Matt, you had 6, then 1, then 1. Egwene, you've had 1, then 2. Yeah. That's pretty much what you've had. Oh, Elayne. Elayne, you've had...
Egwene and Perrin, I feel like we're done with for the book.
Elayne, you had 5, then 3.
completed arcs.
Egwene and Perrin, you think are done?
Egwene and Perrin, I think, are done. Elaine's had 5 and then 3.
Yeah.
I feel like we might get one more making her queen. But I feel like we're due for a drop. Like something, like there's too many victories right now. There's too much hope. Do you know what I mean?
Fear. Well, here, let's start doing this. I'll start crossing things out that you think are out, right? Mm-hmm. Let's do that.
Okay, that's helpful.
So,
Hopefully this is interesting to anybody who's
I think probably, especially because they can see the card as uploaded, as originally created, and then I'll show the card as edited.
Okay.
2 links down below. So Gawain makes a choice.
I think that if we're done with Egwene for this book, that might be done. But also we could just get a Gawain chapter out of nowhere.
Could.
So let's hold on to that one for a second.
A Forsaken dies.
I mean, they've got to. There hasn't been a death of one this book, if I recall.
There has not.
But I don't think any of them are in a position to die either. Oh, I just got sad because I was like, oh, if we're done with Egwene and Perrin, that means we're done with Robert Jordan writing Egwene and Perrin.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. He wrote a significant part of the last 3 books. Nobody knows exactly. Oh, God, yeah. He had been working on, because Knife of Dreams came out in 2005. He passed away in 2007.
Well, and he wrote the last chapter, right?
He wrote the first thing he wrote, apparently, was the epilogue to Memory of Light. I am absolutely certain that it was edited and things were added to it.
Yeah, of course.
However.
Yeah. Let's see. A Forsaken dies. I don't think any of them are in a position to die, but that doesn't necessarily mean they won't, because it happens sometimes very randomly.
It does sometimes.
We have 4 chapters left.
Massima dies.
Semirog is, but I don't think... It seems like Rand's just going to give her to the Shan Chan, right?
Maybe. She's a Forsaken. That'd be a big thing to give away.
Yeah. I mean, that would be, and kind of stupid, but...
I don't think Cad Swain
Rand
would go for that.
doing something kind of stupid because he has,
lady trauma?
tunnel vision around women. Yeah. I've never heard of that.
Massima dies. What about that?
I think we're done with Perrin.
Okay, so cross that out. Hopper lets Perrin go to TAR.
We're done with Perrin.
Min has bad too. Where is Min?
That didn't happen.
Min's not even there, is she? Min's never been there.
What do you mean Min's never been there?
I misunderstood.
Tuon, it was in quotes.
Yeah, Tuon was in quotes. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Alana dies.
I think Rand losing a hand is enough for one book.
All right, so that's out. Sheriam revealed to be triple agent.
I think we might be done with Egwene, but we might not be done with Saladar.
Okay.
With the Saladar group. Because we haven't seen them at all this book. Have we?
We saw them
Oh,
briefly.
yeah, we saw them. We saw them briefly. Swan was trying to keep it together, if I recall. Elayne becomes queen. I think that's got to stay there.
All right, we'll leave that.
I feel really good about that one.
Slayer kills something.
That's a possible, like, epilogue-y kind of thing. So let's keep that one.
Aram kills an innocent.
I think we're done with Perrin. Oh, he's dead, too.
He's dead,
So
yeah.
no. Who's Joylin with again? Matt? Matt. Because his girlfriend's afraid of the Shan-Chan.
Oh, yeah,
And that's the whole thing. Yeah. Matt. Swan and Gareth kiss. Again, we could
Wait.
spend time
So
with
Joylin
Salad or
dies
people.
is on the table.
I think so.
All right.
I don't think Matt's done. I think probably the last few chapters we get might be Matt.
Swan and Gareth kiss.
We could spend time with Saladar.
Kiss.
I don't know though. I think they're talking about it a lot, and she's clearly caught feeling. So let's keep that one for a second. But I don't know if I'm going to keep it there.
Davrim dies.
Who's he with? Rand? I don't think
Rand.
so. I don't think this book.
Egwene rescued.
I don't think this book. I think we're done with her.
I mean, you could kind of make the argument that I don't need to be rescued precludes rescuing. All right, Allie. You going to move to, or you going to write a new one?
So we got 4 chapters and an epilogue left. I think it'll be Matt that we say. I guess we're leaving it on Elayne that needs one more vote. Because it would be weird if there was like one more Elayne chapter. And we paused here. Right?
Not out of the question, but weird.
It would be weird. Unless there was like some big thing. But we already did the big thing.
Well, I guess, which thing are you more... Because it seems to me like you're noodling around either moving both Elayne becomes queen and Swan and Gareth kiss, or...
But I don't know if I like the other choices enough.
Or rewriting one of them.
Yeah,
right?
I think I'm leaning that way because I don't know if I like the other choices enough because I think it's gonna be Matt because I think he's the only one because Elayne, we can end on her right now. We can end, she's got a full arc for this book right now. We can end Egwene, she's got a full arc for this book right now. We can end Perrin, he's got a full arc for this book right now. I feel like we've got to start seeing some downsides because right now Perrin's got his wife back. Rand did lose a hand.
That's a pretty big downside.
And that's a pretty big downside. We did take a pretty big swing down for that. Elayne needs one more vote. Egwene got the tower to respect her over Elida. I don't think we're going to have random character chapters for the last 4 chapters.
Oh, sorry, I should clarify. The Egwene chapters that I said you had, the first one was an Elida chapter. The second one was an Egwene chapter. The third one was a Tarna and Matt chapter. So you've only actually had one chapter with Egwene, and it was Honey and the Tea.
Oh, that's not very much.
But it was, we did say at the time,
a big chapter.
it was a full book's worth of chapter for Egwene. We did say he essentially took what might have been like 15 little Egwene snippets and put them into like one of the most baller chapters he's written in a long time.
He tends to like to end with Rand.
He does. And the last time we saw Rand was chapter 27.
But Matt to me feels like, I feel like it could be 2 Matt, 2 Rand.
Well, the last thing that happened with Matt was they had that slaughter fest where they killed all of those Shan-Chan.
Yeah.
And they have not yet broken out of the
valley.
The valley. I'll give you this. I'll tell you who the next POV is.
Really?
The very
You said
next
you
chapter.
wouldn't.
Just the next chapter because I told you recently who it was.
Who?
It's Furyk Kharid.
Who?
Furyk Kharid.
The Shan-Chan guy?
He's the guy who got the special mission from the Sika, and he has since inherited the Sika voice.
The Sika.
So we get to go
Okay.
back to talking about the glass onion.
And his special mission was in regards to Agianan? Or...
No, it was that whole thing with like Tom Maryland is a spy for the White Tower. He was so close to being right about the great conspiracy. He's also Tuon's personal bodyguard. He's the Death Watch guard.
Okay, yeah, that's making me feel like Matt is probably the end of this book.
Last time we saw him was we had the doll, and the Seeker was like, "Hey, I know you're Furyk Kharid, and you got this doll. Da 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 da. I think Surath and all these other people are in a league together. Blah 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 blah."
Okay.
I think Aes Sedai kidnapped Tuon. Surath is helping them.
Okay. So he's coming to potentially find Tuon.
Presumably. The last time you saw him, he set out to hunt down Tuon's kidnappers.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm thinking Matt might end the book. Matt and Rand, I think, might end the book. I think there's a world in which, I hope this isn't taking too long, but I think there's a world in which Tuon and Matt get married.
The people who have read the full books right now know whether or not you already have any bingos and whether or not it is possible for you to get more from what is on the page and whether or not you would need to invent new stuff to get one or more.
I'm going to leave Elayne becomes queen where it is.
Okay.
I think I may rewrite Swan and Gareth kiss.
Okay.
Because then I could get double bingo if we do one last check-in with Elayne. Because I would hate myself if I moved or changed the Elayne one and then she did become queen at the end.
Sure.
But I have this other bingo and I'm not positive that we spend time with Swan and Gareth. But I am positive that we spend time with Matt. So let's play around with in our brains what we think could happen with Matt. Fear Karidi might try to kill Matt. That's on the list. Matt might kill Fear Karidi. Matt and Tuon might get married and end that plot line so we can go get Moraine. Right? Because we kind of need to free up Matt's time. Right?
Perhaps.
Or is it too soon? I mean, it's never too soon for Robert Jordan.
He thought this was the penultimate book. Don't forget that.
Oh, that's key. That's important. He thought this was the penultimate book. So he would need to end some plot lines, which is why I definitely need to leave Elayne becomes queen there. Because she could do a Hail Mary. Well, she could just get word, right, at some point that, all the houses declared for her. Because why wouldn't they?
She needs one.
She needs one. Yeah, she's going to get that one. That's easy. We don't need to end on suspense. So that we're going to hear about somehow, I think. So let's leave that. So Swan and Gareth kiss. Yeah, I think we're going to delete that. And we'll do we end the Matt Tuon thing? Do we just go yeah, Robert Jordan never thinks it's too soon to have 20-year-olds get married and go with Matt and Tuon get married? Or is that feels too like a risk? It feels like a risk to go Matt Tuon get married as opposed to Matt fights a Seanchan. But is that such a whiff?
I might even say Matt fights a Seanchan is in the same realm as Perrin thinks, where he's already actively fighting Seanchan.
Yeah, so that's kind of cheating.
Okay.
I could see a world in which, are we, the other thing was I was Fear Karidi takes Tuon, but I was are we going to go from Bail is taken
but
to Tuon is taken?
Fear Karidi is her bodyguard and is one of the only people who is not there's an impersonator Tuon. We have to kill her. So
right,
Fear Karidi taking
Tuon. He
Tuon.
misunderstand what's happening and think that Matt has kidnapped Tuon. Yeah, sure. Right? So he might try to kill Matt.
Well, to be fair, Matt has kidnapped Tuon.
True.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm hung up on too is that Matt has already theoretically proposed to Tuon, right? And all Tuon has to say is that sentence back
3 times. Yeah, she has to say Matt from Cawthon is my husband 3 times.
Here's what happens. Fear Karidi comes and tries to kill Matt, right? This is what is going to happen. Fear Karidi comes and tries to kill Matt because he thinks that he has kidnapped Tuon, which is technically true, but Tuon has Stockholm Syndrome because that's big in these books. And Tuon, to save Matt's life, says, Matt from Cawthon is my husband.
Dramatic. So is that it? Is it Matt and Tuon?
Tuon says, Matt from Cawthon is my husband.
Tuon says Matt is husband. All right.
That's my final answer.
It has been penciled in, and I will put this bingo card up as well.
I think that's a really good guess.
I like it.
Considering I have very little to go on.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, we're going to have to read and find out. Thanks for listening, everybody. We have social media. If you want to know what we've got going on, it's linked down below. We also have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's patreon.com/wheeltakes. You can always leave us a rating and a review, which helps a lot. Thanks. It'd be cool. And we have merch, too. Other than that, anything else, Allie?
Matcham Cawthon is my husband.
He's not. Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.